What's going on, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to be working on this 1965 Kaiser Jeep military ambulance. It has not run in about 20 years or so, and that's about all I know about it. I don't know anything else about this truck whatsoever, other than it belonged to my girlfriend's grandfather, and now I gotta make it run. So what I do know about this is it is a 6-cylinder Tornado 230. The reason I know that is because it says it. I don't even know if this thing spins over. So I guess we'll grab onto the fan and see what happens. Okay, this thing's stuck. That's great. Well, that's already one issue. It's missing this fender, but this fender's in the back of the truck. Driver floor needs a little bit of a patch. I don't know if the brakes work or not. That pedal's stuck. That's great. There's a huge cobweb over there. The rest of the body is really not in that bad of shape. Look, there's a mouse house up there. Luckily, that panel comes out with screws to get at that. Here's the back. Open the back doors. Here's where the batteries go. I did not know where that was. I looked a little bit at it earlier and couldn't figure it out, but now I know. Seat folds down, I guess. It's a 4-speed. I have no idea what kind of transfer case that thing is. It is a 1.25-ton truck, as it says. It's an M725, whatever that means. If you want to pause that and read that, go ahead. I'm definitely not going to. This side of the truck's in pretty decent shape. Back door does open. Hinges look to be in pretty good shape. Right there's that fender for the driver's side. This thing is pretty cool. I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen one of these. It's got some rust in this panel over here, but that's a pretty easy panel to remake if I had to. And here there's some, looks like tire chains or something. That's not all rotted out. This door opens good. The windows work. The windows do work. Nice. So yeah, I guess I'll get a bar on this motor and see if I can get it to turn over like that. If not, sometimes you throw a battery in them, the starter can wing them over and get turned like that. But I also don't want to break anything because I doubt I'm be able to find any parts for any of this. This is a overhead cam motor, which I've never dealt with an older overhead cam motor before in my life, or this funky type of ignition. I have never seen that before. It looks like every cylinder has 2 spark plugs or something. I don't really understand that. Oh yeah, because there's only, oh no, it's every cylinder has 1 spark plug, but they're next to each other. Huh, that's different. Never seen that before. Looks like this manifold isn't broken at all, so that's nice. Won't have an awful exhaust leak, and it looks like it has some sort of exhaust on it, I think. Oh yeah, it's got a muffler. Underside's not in bad shape. Frame's really nice. Alright, I guess I'll see if I can get this thing to turn over now. So there's no bolt on the crank pulley over there to put a bar on it. It has, you can put something on it, turn it over, but I wasn't going to go look for anything to try to figure that out. So, well, these must be the spark plugs for it. That's pretty cool. I ain't going to waste time trying to do that. I threw a battery in it. It sparked. I got to figure out how to start this thing on, or crank this thing over, because I don't see any key anywheres. Looks like there's a on-off there, and yeah, that button's the starter. Motor turns over. That's a good thing. Not very fast, but then again, that is a pretty small battery I threw in this thing. I should get my diesel truck over here and throw the jumper cables on it and see if we can get the thing to wing over a little faster. Great. So I got the motor turning over a little better now. Now I'm checking for spark. I sprayed some brake cleaner down the carburetor. It didn't light off or nothing, so I got the distributor cap off. And this thing's pretty weird looking. I have no idea what it is, but I do know it has points. So I'm gonna try to open and close the contacts and see if she sparks off and does anything. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it does have spark, at least from at that point. So I'm gonna put this cap back on and I guess maybe spray some more brake cleaner down it, see what happens, and if not, I have to try to figure out how to pull these plugs off. But as you can see, these spark plug wires thread onto the spark plug itself, and there is like no room to get any sort of tool in there whatsoever. So I gotta figure that one out too. But for now, let me put this back on since I know it does have spark, and I guess spray more brake cleaner at it and see if it lights off. Right now I'm working on getting spark plugs out so I can lubricate the cylinders. It's turning over and it has spark, but it's not turning over fast enough. Even with the, it's got a new battery in it and it's got jumper cables on it as well. It's still just not turning over fast enough. So I'm gonna pull all the plugs out and like I said, I'll lubricate the cylinders, I'll turn it over, put the plugs out. Yeah, that doesn't look the greatest. So supposedly there's supposed to be 6 new spark plugs in this Jeep somewhere, as I was told. I've only found 3 so far, so worst case, I will put the 3 in, and then I'll put them in the back of the truck, or back of the motor. That way they're a harder one to get to, and then I'll replace the other 3 whenever I find them. Also, I'm sorry for the noise in the background. It's a truck running, charging up the battery. I don't have a compressor out here in the woods, so I'm using that brake cleaner as kind of like compressed air to get all the dirt and grime away from these plug holes. That way I don't drop all the stuff into cylinders. While I'm letting it soak, I might look around the truck a little more. Oh yeah, that's real bad. That would have never fired off of that. You can see that electrode's completely full of junk. And the cylinder was wet, so that means whatever I put down the carburetor maybe made it to the cylinder, which is nice. Oh yeah, they're all pretty bad. That's probably the worst one, right there. this one was the best one. I'll take the best one of the three. The best of the three. That one's not bad. And I'll use these ones to put back in there, since if I can't find the other missing brand new three plugs. So I think these three right there, if you can see that, they're gonna be my best bet to reuse. I'll go wire wheel them off, and like I said, I'll lubricate the cylinders, we'll spin it over and get it really kicking stuff around. Go from there. I got all the plug wires and plugs back on it. I turned it over real quick just to see if it was going to be fast or slow, and it's actually turning over pretty slow still, unfortunately, even after lubing the cylinders up and turning it over without the spark plugs in it at all. It seemed like it was turning over faster with them out, but with them hooked back in, it didn't really make any difference, I guess. So it's still turning over pretty slow. I'm gonna hook up this boat tank right now, just so we can get a fuel source to this thing in case it actually does want to run, which would be pretty nice if it does. And then also, I gotta hope that this fuel pump even works. It was bypassed already once before with an electric pump. I don't know if that's because the pump didn't work or because the tank was bad, because it wasn't hooked up to the tank itself. It was hooked up to like an auxiliary tank that was inside the cab. So that could mean that this pump doesn't work at all. I really don't know. Or whoever was messing with it last, which was actually my girlfriend's grandfather, he's the last person that got it running. I haven't talked to him yet as to what exactly he did and did not do. All I know is he said there was an auxiliary tank when he got it running. So apparently this thing's actually been sitting for only about 15 years or so. That's the last time it ran. It was like 15 years ago. And I looked in the dash, and this thing is a 1968. I think I said it was a 65 earlier, but it's a 68. I got the jumper cables hooked back up, boat tanks hooked up. Prime it a little starting fluid and see if this thing lights off. Fired off there for a second. I could see through the windshield that the pump is pulling fuel, but I don't know if it's actually working or not. I can't see it, but it sounds like it's spraying. Not exactly sure. Give another shot of this. So it appears that it's only running off of the starting fluid. I do see this pumping still. I can see gas coming through it. Like I said, I don't think it's shooting out of the carburetor. I don't have a light to really see. It sounds like it is, but I can't tell. The choke cable itself is pretty stuck in there. I gotta lube up the whole cable or just replace it. Not too sure yet, but so just bend this out of the way. Open it up a little bit. I can't see nothing in there at all, but it sounds like it's squirting. I can't tell. I hear something jiggling in there, almost like the needle and seat going up and down. So the carburetor is not pumping any gas at all. I'm going to take this thing apart. Hopefully I don't ruin any seals because I do not have any seals for this thing. See if I can figure out what's going on the inside as to why it won't be spraying the fuel. I thought I heard needle and seat jiggling around in there, but I guess I could be wrong. That or it's something else blocking it from sending fuel through the squirters.
Well, I can already see fuel leaking, so there is fuel in the carburetor. A little bit of dirt in here. So it wasn't gas coming out, it was actually the starter fluid I sprayed down the hole here. So the noise I heard that I thought was the needle and seat moving up and down is the needle and seat moving up and down. So maybe, just maybe, there is something stuck in this line itself, and that's why there's no gas. Huh. Or maybe that pump looks like it's pumping, but is actually not pumping. Let me see if I can find a bottle for that one. Into a water bottle here. Let's see if anything's actually coming out of it. Nothing. So maybe that doesn't work. But I see the fuel moving through that line, which kind of confuses me. Let me, let's see, get the thing to turn over. or fire up. That way it spins a little faster. Maybe then I'll see something else. Yeah, it definitely should have done something there. So I'm assuming that factory pump does not work, which is not a good thing. Hopefully I can find a replacement one of those for when I put it back the right way. Now I guess I'm going to see if I can make this electric one work, I guess. I don't know. So I hooked this pump straight to a battery and it does work. So I'll be able to bypass the mechanical pump and run it off of this. Because needle and seat in the carburetor is working. So that means if I put this in there, the carburetor should fill up. Hopefully the accelerator pump works. Everything looks pretty decent in the carburetor. Like, it doesn't look like it's, like, there's no really junk built up in it. Like, very, very little, but not much. Nothing that I would say would hinder it from running. So I'm gonna get some wires for this thing, run them inside the truck. I'm just gonna hot wire it for now, so it runs straight to the battery, just to make it run, and I can unhook it if I have to unhook it. But I'll go get that done, put it back together, and then we'll see if it runs. All right, I got the electric fuel pump hooked up. I had to take the carburetor apart about 3 times to make it actually shoot gas, which it does now. So I guess we'll see if the thing idles. The choke's stuck. Let's see if we take it off of here. Let's see what's in the idle one. This one? Oh, that's all wrong. Let's try that. There you have it, it's idling. I don't think any of the gauges work. Well, it's really hard to see, but I don't think anything works. Plus it ain't got no oil pressure and the generator ain't working, but I'm gonna assume none of that stuff works. I'll let this warm up a bit since it hasn't ran in a very long time. I'll put some coolant in the radiator and then we'll see if it moves, because I know the clutch works, but the brakes do not work. So we'll get the, see if this thing moves. Well, there you have it. It runs, it moves, it doesn't stop at all. There's no brakes whatsoever. I gotta figure that part out next. But on the bright side, it idles, it runs. I don't see the coolant system leaking at all, so that's a good thing. Other than that, I gotta figure out some of the wiring in here. I'm gonna hook up that electric fuel pump to a switch. I see there's a switch right here that it was hooked to originally that I did not notice. I thought it was a different wire that was in the back that wasn't working for me. So that being said, I gotta figure that stuff out still to make it, you know, more roadworthy. But here it is. So like I said, I think I said it was sitting for 20 years at first, but it was actually sitting for around 15 years. And it is a 1968, not a 1965 like I had stated. The reason I found that out is because there's a plaque on the dash over there that says it was made in January of 68. That's how I know that. But there you have it. Now let's see if we can get some brakes working on this thing. But that'll probably be, I'll probably do that tomorrow since this is getting late today. I'll pull it out front since it runs now and work on it in the driveway. See if we can make this thing stop. Well, it's the next morning now. I'm gonna see if this thing fires up. I haven't put jumper cables on it and drive it up towards the garage so I can try to figure out the brake situation. See if I can get any of the brakes to work at all. Even if it's just one in order to, you know, drive it around and actually be able to stop. So I'll see if this thing fires up. Oh. It's trying to. Almost. There we go. Oh. Try it again. I'll let this thing warm up a bit and then we'll see if she makes it to the front yard. I'm gonna go as slow as I can, that way, you know, if I have to shut this thing off in gear, it doesn't, you know, keep on rolling away. Just because this thing has no drift. Oh, and it died. So I definitely think it's something in the transmission making noise. I put it in low, that way I can get up that hill back there. Because it just was too much strain on it, I guess, for it being so cold. Right up here. I wanted to turn it around, but I'll just leave it like this for now. Oh, it died out again. Right now I'm heating up that brake line thing to get that master cylinder off so I can make that thing work at all on the bench and put it back in. So what I think is happening, why it keeps shutting off on me, is this thing's like sucking in air or something and it gets like airlocked.
and I have to crack the line down here, let the air out of it in order for it to get gas to the carburetor again. This is the second time I've had this boat tank do this to me, so maybe there's something wrong with that tank itself. Also, it's currently feeding gas out of the, I don't know if you can see that. It's like it's pushing gas back to the tank for some reason. I really don't know what's... Oh, the vent I think is bad in it. I just oh, and it's running out of gas. I'll get more gas than that, I guess. But yeah, something's wrong with that, I think. But I'll let this heat up so I can break that line loose. I have to remake a new one. If I do, I do. But I'd like to not if I don't have to. So I got the line off the rest of the cylinder now. I'm going to go inside and press the brake pedal, see if anything comes out of here. If it does, then I might be in good shape, and I'll make up a line to go from here and feed it back in here, kind of bleed itself. That way I can do it by myself, because I don't really have help right now to do that. So let's see if anything comes out of it. Okay, I see it is spraying a little bit. It's pretty dirty in there. I'm gonna see if I can make up a line to go into that. That way it can just keep feeding back to itself and not be sucking in air. And hopefully it'll build up pressure and hook the line back up and then bleed just the rear brakes, because I don't have any front brake hoses right now. Got my line made up. Thread this back in here, then I'll bend this up and into there, so it just feeds back on itself. Okay. Now I should be able to pump this, and bubbles will come out of here because they'll be bleeding out the cylinder itself, I think. I think that's how it works. I don't really know. I guess I'll figure it out. And if it works, works. If it doesn't, I'll figure something else out. So I took this line off, I put the original line back on it, and I found out the master cylinder does work now. I sprung a leak over here in the front somewheres, and the hose in the back is broken as well. So I put this back on just to get the air out of this again, because it completely got airlocked again, and it wasn't leaking out of those lines no more. So I bled it again with this. I'm gonna fix all those lines that are broken, and then I will hook this back up, and it should be the last time I have to do that, unless I spring a leak somewhere else as well. I'm gonna run to the store, so I'm gonna find some hoses that'll somewhat work for this, and then I have hard line here to replace all the hard lines in it. I should probably just do them all, that way I'm not keep messing with it and come up with more leaks later. So I'll get them all replaced and see if it's gonna stop or not. So I got a new line ran to the rear right now.
See that down there? I saw you hook it up to the hose in the back. I could not find front hoses anywhere local, so I had to order them. So I just took the old fittings that broke off and I welded them shut. That way no brake fluid goes through them, and I can still use just the rear brakes for right now, as long as the rear brakes work. So like I said, I got this motor into the back. I went and got a rear hose for like a square body Chevy, and then I gotta make new lines for the rear end because both of those also broke. So after I'm done with all that, I should have rear brakes after I bleed everything, and should be able to drive down the road hopefully. All right, so another update on the Jeep. I got my bigger boat tank here in the back, and I ran the line along the inside because there's actually no rot holes back here for me to shove the line through the floor and do it underneath. That's whatever. Got a bigger tank back here that actually works and holds more gas. Look under here. I ran new brake line to both rear wheels, and one from a new brake hose and one from here all the way to the front. And I got the rear brake split up. I can hear them engaging when I hit the brake pedal, so hopefully those work. Other than that, here's that gas line. I ran it through here and just up to the firewall to the electric fuel pump. I still need to wire the fuel pump up to a switch. Right now I'm just hot wiring it to the battery, but there should be enough to make this thing run and drive and stop and go down the road. So let's see if it does that. All right, so I'm about to take it down the road now. I had to change the fuel pump around. I'll show you real quick. So as you saw, the electric fuel pump was in the front. I had to put it back here because these things are not meant to pull fuel, they're only meant to push fuel. So the closer to the tank they are, the better. I knew that going ahead, but the pump was already up there and mounted up there, so I was like, I'll try it, see what happens. It did not work. So I moved the pump back here. I just hot wired the wires to the battery, and if you were to give it gas for a certain period of time, it would run out of fuel because this thing cannot keep up. So I hooked a DeWalt battery to it because DeWalt batteries put out more voltage than the regular 12-volt battery does, just in order for this thing to give me enough fuel to make it down the road and back. So that being said, I'm gonna hop in it and take this thing for a ride, and hopefully it goes all right. I know I have only rear brakes right now. They kind of work, but work good enough. I put some air in the tires, and this thing should go down the road for the first time in who knows how long. So I did not make it very far down the road. It has some sort of fuel issue, whether it's carburetor related or fuel pump related. I'm leaning more towards the carburetor because if you try to give it any bit of throttle, it kind of just dies out. So I can't really do too much about that right now until I'm gonna order a new carburetor, probably order a new fuel pump. I also have to order front brake lines for this thing. So this will be it for this video, but in the next video on this, I'll be installing those new parts as well as put the fender on, get all the lights working, and actually making it drivable to go down the road, as well as cleaning out this interior, because it definitely needs some help. So like I said, this will be it for this one. There will be more on this in the future. This one's not going anywhere. This is not one I'm selling. This one is going to be a keeper, so it will be around in more future videos on it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.